Your light is not a commodity. Do not trade it for anything. Your light is not a commodity. Do not trade it for anything. I do not let anybody steal my destiny.
Only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon. Only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
Your light is not a commodity, guys. That is what I want to talk about in today's video, because something is really bothering me on a soul level, and I think many of you are going to have the same question. But often when we look at the reality right here, there's a disbalance going on in the reality, right? And there's a group of people that are actually waking up to that disbalance, and many people that are just looking at the disbalance and just think like, okay, I'm not going to do anything about it, it's just there. And this makes me sometimes really wonder, what is the difference between these two groups of people? What is the difference between the group of people that are really willing to look at the truth, that I want to dive deeper, that I want to do the research, that have this existential crisis of what am I doing on this planet? What is my purpose here? Where is my higher self? What is the true essence of this reality? Is it the 3D reality that we are seeing right now? Or is there something underneath that is actually the true reality? And many who has been taking mind-altering drugs like mushrooms, for example, I personally did that. I'm going to make a separate video about that. But the moment that I took mushrooms, for me, I started to realize that the reality that we perceive right now as being sober is just because we perceive it in that way. It doesn't have anything to do with the truth, because with, for example, mind-altering drugs like mushrooms, and I do not condone anyone taking these things, but you see a different side of reality. You see reality through a different lens. And then reality is completely different. The feeling state is completely different. The visuals are completely different. You see things that you cannot see when you are not in this state of consciousness. But another example of that would be, for example, like Wi-Fi is also something you cannot see, but there are terabytes of data right now going through this room, going through my body in terms of these radio frequencies, waves, you name it. I cannot see them, but there's a lot of things happening on the surface. And this is just a very small essence, of course, of the totality of what's happening, because that's probably really complex, and I don't have the feeling that anyone on this planet really knows exactly what's going on. But I think many of us do have the feeling that something is wrong, something big is wrong with this reality, and this is what I want to touch in today's video. So I want to do a thought experiment with you guys, which is a little bit thought bending. Maybe some of you already had this realization of a potential possibility, but I'm going to apply it in a macro way, and I'm going to apply it in a micro way, as above so below, as macro as micro. So I want to start off with an example. Right now we have a lot of artificiality in our reality, right? There's a lot of things that are fake in this reality. A lot of relationships are fake. Social media, the way people present themselves are often fake. I've seen this myself so many times. And even with myself, you know, I'm a content creator online. I've been creating many videos on days that I was actually not feeling good. But I'm pretty sure that a lot of you were not able to see that in the video as well. And that I'm more talking about the crypto channel that I have. But I've been in many occasions where people were making pictures with big smiles, and I just know from that moment the situation was not nice. The experience of that situation was completely not nice. We were not happy, but on the picture it is completely different, right? This is again a fake aspect of reality. When we have a look at our food, when we have a look at the educational system, when we have a look at the pharmaceutical industry, a lot of industries are built on top of lies and manipulation, and the goal seems to be often to be manipulation, to give wrong information, to give half information, or to delay information. All of these things. And then you have, for example, what we have seen in 2019 and 2020. There was such a big fight going on in society from one group against another group, right? And now after the whole crisis, so to say, and with new evidence, nobody is, not nobody, but a big part, especially the group that were really pro, they are not looking back and, for example, learning from that experience, or looking back and saying like, yeah, this was actually pretty crazy what happened and we should dive deep in it. No, it happened. That's it. And we just continue and we're doing the same thing all over again. And that makes me sometimes really wonder what is housing in those people. What is the difference between some people really like looking for the truth? I have this instinct or this energy, this drive within themselves that they are searching for the purpose, they are searching for the truth, even though they do not know the truth, they want to look for it. There is this craving of sense of purpose, and many people don't have that. Many people are just very simple, okay, I just do my job, I go home, I watch Netflix, scroll a little bit on Instagram, I go to sleep, and the next day I do it again, and there are no thoughts in the system that are like, is there maybe something more? So, what I said in the beginning of this video, your light is not a commodity. I want to make an example. So, like I said, we right now see a lot of artificiality. We have artificial intelligence, but this is right now in our perception and our timeline. From the ones, let's just assume that there could be different realities and there could be different situations that we are not aware of, right? So let's say, for example, 100,000 years ago, artificial intelligence has already been created, and there has been already a mechanism or machine, or there has been already the ability for this artificial intelligence to create something like a human body. Right, so it can act like a human body, it can be programmed, maybe also similar as how humans can be programmed as well by giving a lot of information, so and so, and it therefore can act in a certain way, right? And therefore it, for example, is programmed to not ask certain questions, it's not really programmed to have a certain life purpose, it's just programmed to fulfill a certain role in the society, right? But let's say, and this is becoming very interesting, quantum physics, what is reality? Is reality just as it is? Is reality the absolute reality, and is it existing always? Or is it only existing because of an observer? And now the story gets interesting. What if you have 10 people, right? And 2 of those 10 people are people that carry the light. And what I mean with carrying the light, they carry a creative power within them that is shaping this reality. So their observation of this reality is creating this reality. So if you want to manipulate reality, if you want to create a different reality than the purpose of those 2 people, what you can do is you can add 8 other people, but those people are not co-creators of reality. They are artificial beings. art is not an organic being, right? It's not creating reality, but they create a construct. They create, for example, a hierarchy. They create one is the boss over another. They create a government. They create a monetary system, right? You can only trade based with money, and they play in that role perfectly, which makes the two people with the light believe that that's the reality, because that's everything that they know and that's everything what they see with their five senses. But they do actually not know that they are the ones that creating that reality, while that reality is a complete illusion. It is based on something that cannot create without the help of the light, which those two people carry. And I believe that some kind of strong construct like that, it is possible that is happening right now on the planet, and that's the reason why we see so much manipulation. So we are going through life, and a percentage of the population, they are the observer that are creating this reality, and their light is first being dimmed by, for example, providing a very bad foods, contaminating the tap water, for example, to make their light more dim, to make their body more passive, so they start to ask less questions and they just accept reality how it is. And that small percentage of the society, they are the whole time going through life, and their images are being held in front of them, and they are co-creating this reality. And maybe that's also why you have, for example, predictive programming. They always say, yeah, they do predictive programming, so they show you future events that are going to happen, because then the impact on society is less shock. The shock impact is less. But what if it's actually the other way around? By showing these future events, when they reach a tipping point of the creators in this reality that are seeing this event, they can actually create it. Because it needs to be observed first. It needs to be created. That's the whole thing of the law of manifestation, why that works in the first place. Right? It has to be seen first before it can come into existence. So when we have a look at a narcissistic relationship, for example, and this is also touching the same subject, because the narcissist needs other people for narcissistic supply. But what is that narcissistic supply? And this is actually, it looks like the same thing that I just mentioned before. It looks like somebody that is artificial and trying to get a concept of self based on the opinions and observations of other people. So you gotta think like this. Let's say you want to be a very successful entrepreneur, or you want to be a very loving person, right? Then the only way for you to be that loving person is to convince others that you are this loving person, so that others will look at you in that certain type of way, and that for you creates that reality that is actually like that. That's pretty sick, because of course the only one who can create your reality of feeling of success, of feeling of being a loving person, is within you. It is not somebody else external that validates who you are. No, it is an internal state. Could this be possible, guys, that the observers are creating the reality, and that's why we are seeing so much manipulation, lies and half-truths being presented to us? Because the moment we are looking at that and we are accepting that as the truth, and I think that is very important, it's the belief that really counts. The moment we accept that as a truth, that is the moment that it is a truth and it is being created in this reality. So the moment we start to realize what our authentic power actually can do, and that our authentic power is co-creating this reality. So yeah, this video goes really deep on the essence of reality. And guys, by any means, I'm not claiming to have the truth right here, so do take that in mind. And I just find it a very interesting thought experiment, because I've been going through many experiences in the past couple of years, which makes me, every time I turn around the corner, I'm just like, wow, like that this even exists. About a lot of things in my life, I was not aware of what was going on. I was not aware that certain things are existing, because it is not in me. So I observe certain things outside of me that I cannot recognize within me, and therefore I start to realize like maybe there is a difference. Maybe there is a difference in creatures that we are seeing right here on the planet, and maybe that's the whole reason why they need you alive. They need to feed you lies. They need to manipulate you because you are so powerful. You are creating the reality. So that's the whole point. The whole point is that reality is being created by you, and that's why you are so important. Another way to look at this, what I'm trying to explain in this video, is a hack in our consciousness. So let's say our consciousness is splitted into these observers. We are living somewhat in a computer simulation type of environment, and then within the simulation, pieces of code are replicated that look very much like something that is similar to us, but it is not similar to us because it is not organic. It is something artificial. Therefore, it is hacking our consciousness, putting things in our consciousness that are actually not truly from ourselves, but because we are following that, we are falling into the trap of that illusion, we are creating that, and that is the whole machine that is going on. So there is an organic reality and an artificial reality that is misleading the ones with the organic observation, which results in that the organic observators are creating this whole matrix. We've been hacked. Look at it in form of a virus, like an autoimmune disease is the same thing. It is something that is going into your original system that is not being recognized as a threat, is not being recognized as something harmful. That's why it has all the space to harm you as much as possible, because it's not recognized as such. And that's the whole point. And I don't know if this makes any sense to you guys, but it does make a lot of sense to me. I hope this makes sense. And if not, then let me know in the comment section what you think is reality about, and maybe we can learn from each other, guys. Okay, hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.
Only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no